Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend and an amazing day. We're going to take another look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on, of course, helping us understand best practice and big picture, seeing obviously what might happen this weekend. Now, weekends, to preface, are typically low volume and in turn can kind of give you mixed results, right? Oftentimes it's pretty small and pretty slow, but this being a holiday weekend, I'm venturing to guess we're going to see some interesting behavior, more specifically tomorrow and Monday. Okay, so again, just something to kind of give you a heads up on there. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. Love teaching people to trade. I hope you can learn something today. If you do learn something, obviously, comment below. Let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. But more importantly, if you want to become a better trader, I do offer a trading academy, community, and signal group. Link in the description below. CryptoCache.tech is a site where you can register. We've got a lot of new members coming over there. We have over 200 active members presently. It's a really awesome experience. Be sure to check that out in your own time. So taking a look here, of course, at Bitcoin. Big picture, it sucks, right? We did break through this descending type of trend, the more immediate one, but we're still below the larger time frame. So in other words, in the big picture, we can see here that Bitcoin is basically still on the struggle bus and that we are still descending this overall sense of the entire thing right now. In other words, we could even go all the way back and pretty much extend this out. It's literally been descending since November. I think we know that, but more importantly, this most recent trend started in March, and we still haven't broken through that trend. Okay, so until we break that trend, we got to kind of expect it to continue. All right, so just kind of heads up on that. Bearish, activities will continue to happen until we prove otherwise. That being said, we're underneath both moving averages here, of course, the 50 and the 20. The 20 is working concurrent with that actual trend line, which is pretty standard. The 20-day set moving average has a tendency of doing that. So we got to, I would say the first milestone to break would be to break above the 20-day set moving average. Okay. So we're not quite there yet. It is trending right around 21,000, so just heads up on that. We will see eventually soon if it's willing to want to break that. We can also see that we're trending closer to 30 as well in the RSI, which is standard stuff as well. Nothing really to write home about here, right? Same thing here with the MACD convergence that might be potentially forming. It's really not, though. That's the thing we got to understand. This 20-day, sorry, the 12-day moving average here is essentially moving sideways, whereas the 26 is slowly going to intersect with it if it continues this way. What that basically just tells us is we're losing momentum, and that the bears are losing that control, but the bulls certainly haven't taken control, right? So for lack of better terms here, that doesn't tell us a tremendous amount. It really just says that, hey, we're potentially going to shift momentum to bullish, but we got to break this descending trend first. It's kind of the bottom line. So again, mostly I would say neutral here, conflicting information on the daily. That's not really telling us too much. Except for the fact that we're below key level resistances, we're just above a key level support at 19,800, and really at this point the price is just averaging itself out in between 19,500 and 20,400. In that range, we have been fairly range bound with a few candle wicks up and down, but for the most part the price is unwilling to go above or below this area, this channel we're stuck in. So again, it's kind of one of those range bound activities, and you might want to just consider trading within that range. That is essentially where we're at. 4-hour time frame here, we can also see the 50-day set moving average working its way down as a resistance. The 20 isn't really telling us too much. I would say the 50 is probably more of a likely, beneficial candidate, if you will. In other words, as soon as we break back above that, that's when we should celebrate. That's when we should be at least initially happy that we are on the right side of the tracks. Because you can see we've been below the 50-day set moving average for some time here. I mean, the last time we were above it was back in August, right? So again, I know August was roughly 2 weeks ago, but 2 weeks ago we were actually above that level. And to me, being above that level is important because it kind of shows you have this initial uptrend, you're on the right side of the tracks. With us being below that, it's not really great. Okay. Again, those are the things that I like to look at. You might have a different trading style. Again, it depends on what you're planning to trade to in the big picture as well. I gravitate more towards short-term swing trading instead of a day trade where I have to sit there and watch the market all day long. I don't really care to do that anymore. Even though I've made plenty of money, I just don't like the stress of day trading. And this is much more appropriate for my trading style. Again, to pay attention to those moving averages on the larger time frames. We'll look at smaller stuff too that is absolutely relevant, but on the same accord, it doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Right? We kind of already established the macro is still bearish. The midterm here is transitioning, so to speak. You can tell it's trying, but when we got the MACD consistently breaking above and below, it really doesn't give us any indication that it's wanting to go either direction. Okay, so again, we're kind of just stuck in this stupid little range, and until it breaks above or below, we got to expect it to continue. The likelihood of it retesting upwards is higher than it is retesting downwards, just based on the overall way that it's progressing. I covered this in yesterday's video, but generally speaking, if we were to retest 20,400 again, we should likely see a break to the upside. All right, but again, keep in mind, 19,500, we retest that level, we could break to the bottom as well, break down. So again, we got to recognize there's not a lot of, I don't know, there's not a lot of positivity, I guess you can say, in the market. I'm not trying to be a gloomer here, but I can tell you that it's not looking fantastic in the overall sense of things. The regular market is really affecting things. So just keep this in mind. When the market gapped down yesterday for NASDAQ, we effectively saw a significant decrease in value. Now, yesterday was an interesting day. It gapped down, came up, and then gapped down again, or essentially, transitioned down lower to effectively close right where it opened. So when we see stuff like that happen, that's going to hit the big old reset button for Bitcoin when it gained this momentum, then instantly lost it as soon as the trading day opened. Okay, so again, we won't experience that over the weekend, but I think the likelihood of the price action coming up this weekend is just slightly greater than it coming down. But again, it's hard to really say specifically. It's just so many things are factoring in. There's a really crazy nonsensical world out there right now, and it's just one of those things where we got to kind of get ready for a roller coaster, and that's basically what this has been. This stupid up and down, significant hit of resistance, and then just dump instantly after that. Okay, so that is something we want to. That's kind of a reality, and we need to be aware of that. Again, I try to teach that to my community members. Hey, we got to be patient in this environment. It doesn't happen overnight. You can't force a trade. It's important to be cautious and careful. So taking a look here at some other things, we can kind of see on TD sequential, we got a reset. We just hit a 9 recently to the downside, and then the price is going sideways. So that really doesn't tell us a heck of a lot, except for the fact that the price action is unwilling to break 19,800 for the moment. It keeps retesting that level and essentially holding above. You could argue that this is like a descending type of trend, and the price action could continue lower. That's absolutely correct. But with this being a weekend, it's kind of a flip of a coin. Honestly, it's very difficult to gauge what's going to happen on the weekend because you can't look at traditional markets as an indication of what's going on. So again, just something to throw out there. If we look at the cloud too, same thing here as well. When you're range bound within the cloud, it's really difficult to gauge as well how much further or how much longer it's going to stay on either side. Okay, so again, lagging spans intersecting with the price action here soon. Even though the conversion line is well below the baseline, it tells us that there's a lot of momentum. That's this guy right here. That really doesn't say too much here in the sense that you should keep your short position open. Basically what it's telling us is that you want to close your short position if you have one and wait for a potential long signal, which is of course a break back up above the key level resistance here on the cloud at 20,000. Okay, so really not a lot to extract here as well from the cloud. It really just kind of tells us that if you have a short position, you should have taken your profits by now, and that it's kind of losing its momentum to the downside. All right, so the inevitability there is that the price action could increase, right? Well, not always true, but it can happen. Let's take a quick look at Bollinger Bands on the 15. We can see them getting kind of tighter here. Decided to take a trade here right around this range yesterday, and it came up, of course, and got rejected at 20,000. So we've been kind of stuck between 19,800 and 20,000 for the last 24 hours. Okay, now we can kind of expect that to continue likely over the weekend, just based on the simple fact that there's low volume and less interest. But I'm willing to speculate tomorrow evening when the Eastern markets open and the traditional markets are closed, we're going to see some type of price manipulation, either upwards or downwards. So just pay attention to that. That is something that could very well happen. So at this point, again, I hate to reiterate this, but no trade is good trade. I do feel like we have a slightly more potential to go up than we do down, just based on the more so the micro and the midterm. When it comes to the macro, though, just the bottom line here is that we're stuck in this sucky little area here, 19,500 to 20,400, till we break above or below, and or get back up above this trend line here, more specifically the 20-day set moving average. Then at that point, we're going to be in a position where we're going to be at least able to have a little bit more confidence. Right now, it's like, who knows what's going on? It's a complete flip of a coin. So, even the best technical analysis can't really predict which direction we're heading. But the thing you got to recognize, based on your trading style, if you're a long-term trader, right, for example, then you probably want to wait to take a position because the likelihood of it coming down is still higher, right? If you are more of a short-term swing trader, the likelihood of the price action coming up before it comes down is also greater. Okay, so again, you want to try to obviously adjust to your trading style based on what your overall big picture is. Try not to be the kind of person that does a day trade and then jumps into a swing trade and then starts making those trades hodl trades, and you can get a bit messy if you do that. Stick to one thing and get good at it. That's kind of the bottom line. Again, different styles, different strokes for different folks. I teach all those different trading styles in my trading academy, so feel free to check that out in your own time. Once again, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.